COVID arraignment B calendar this morning, as well as we have a small add-on calendar, as well as a show cause calendar. The Public Defense Counsel and prosecutors have these three calendars.
Yes, Your Honor. I do have the FTA or show cause calendar for 11 a.m. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
And
Your Honor, I have two calendars, two COVID arraignment calendars. One with position one being Jones and the other with position one being Brown. To which calendar are we referring?
I have Orca D beginning with Brown, and then the other one would be the add-on calendar.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and who do we have for our prosecutors this morning?
Mr. Henderson and Ms. Riley.
All right, folks, hope everyone is doing good this Friday morning. Just think you can relax tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, good morning, folks. My name is Judge Law, and this is the Fulton State Plea and Arraignment Calendar for cases that we have classified as COV. Most of these cases were accused or cited during the last few years during the pandemic shutdown, and we're trying to address them and see if we can reach a resolution today. And I would wager to say that most of these cases have not been formally accused, though they have been treated as some of them are being treated as accused cases. If you are a defendant and you are represented by counsel, then your attorney will speak on your behalf. And hopefully, your attorney is present today. Defense counsel, if you are present, I will place, once I call the calendar, after the conclusion of the calendar call, I will place each of you in a breakout room with our two prosecutors who are available, Mr. Don Thompson and Mr. Ms. Riley. As you see, we have two prosecutors, so I'll try to rotate you as fast as possible. So there's going to be a holding pattern, and they will try to resolve the matter as quickly as possible and come back out of the breakout to take the next defense counsel. Now, defendants who are not represented by counsel, you do have a right to appointed counsel. You do have a right to an appointed attorney if you cannot afford one. That is allowed to you under the Constitution. Now, in order to see whether you qualify for appointed counsel, you have to apply for the services of the public defense with the public defender's office. In the chat feature of the Zoom conference, in the chat feature, hopefully the public defense attorneys or their assistant will post some information on how you can contact the public defender's office to obtain an application by email. You will need to remain on the Zoom conference this morning to complete the application and then send the application back to the public defender's office by email so they can review it and let you know this very morning if you qualify for the public defender's office. If you do not qualify, then you will have an opportunity to speak to the prosecutor if you choose to do so to see whether you can resolve your case. If you are a defendant cited or accused of a misdemeanor offense, all of you, please remember, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in this virtual open court, which is being recorded and live streamed, your statements about the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, as I mentioned. If you want the services of a public defender's office, as soon as that information is posted on the chat feature, you will be able to see if you qualify. Ms. Gant, on the chat feature, I don't see the information posted. I just see that defense attorney Ms. Helen is on her way to courtroom G33. The only other person I have in the courtroom is Mr. Christopher Jacobs, who's waiting for his attorney, Timothy McCaleb, to appear. Is Timothy McCaleb on the Zoom conference? Timothy Michaela. Okay, okay, good. The information to apply for the public defense attorney to get their services for free is on the chat feature. If you are on a particular phone device, you'll see 3 dots at the bottom of your Zoom. Please click on those 3 dots and one of the options will be chat, C-H-A-T. Click on that and you will see the information from the public defender's office. All right, private defense counsel, who is present? Private defense counsel, who is present?
I'm here,
Mr.
Judge. This is Scott Fortis for Miss Reed, R-E-E-D. I just need a brief pre-trial if I could get one, please.
All right, this is position 15.
That would be me, Your Honor, Miss Riley.
Mr. Fortis, you will be speaking to Ms. Riley shortly.
Okay, Judge. Thank you. I'll stand by.
Any other private attorneys, please? You can speak up. I'll try to figure it out through all the noise. Any other private attorneys present to represent the defendant? All right. Ms. Riley, which positions do you represent?
I represent 11 through 20, Your Honor.
11 to 20. All right. Will the host please place Ms. Riley in a breakout room with Attorney Fortis, please? And Ms. Riley, as I call the calendar, I'll let we will just keep track of which cases need to be with you. Okay?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
I said I'm going to place you in a breakout room now with Mr. Fortis, and then we'll keep track of who else is going to be next to speak to you.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Again, any other private attorneys present? Ms. Smith, we can go ahead and place Ms. Riley and Attorney Scott Fortis. And Scott, once you're in the breakout room, you can go ahead and start your video, please, so that she can discuss the case with you.
I will, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, position 1, Mildred Brown. Mildred Brown. Mildred Brown. Mildred Brown is not present. Alexis Bryant. Alexis Bryant. Alexis Bryant. I have a gentleman with glasses in a room lying down on his bed. I don't think you can hear me, but he seems very comfortable for a Friday morning. All right. Folks, this is a open court proceeding, and traditionally we don't allow people to slumber in their beds while waiting for a to be called. So as soon as the gentleman in the pink shirt hears me, I'm sure everyone on the Zoom is very envious of this comfortable position. Well, it'll be interesting when he gets audio. All right, Alexis Bryant, are you present? Not present? Okay. Anthony Corbett. Anthony Corbett. Anthony Corbett, not present. Amanda Delgado. Amanda Delgado. Amanda Delgado. Scott Dobbs. Scott Dobbs. Scott Dobbs. Robert Irby. Robert Irby. Robert Irby. Vincente Jones. Vincente Jones. Shawana McQueen. Shawana McQueen. Brandon Mcwilliams. Brandon Mcwilliams. Brandon Mcwilliams. Michael Newland. Michael Newland. Michael Newland. All right, Mr. Newland. Mr. Newland, please unmute your screen. Unmute your screen.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Newland, thank you for addressing the court in an upright position. May I ask you who is your attorney?
I don't have one appointed.
Have you applied for the public defender's office?
No, I haven't.
And would you like to speak to the prosecutor, or would you like to apply for the public defender's office? You are charged with false report of a crime.
I'll speak to the prosecutor.
All right, you will be speaking to Mr. Henderson. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you can apply for the public defender's office. The information is on the chat feature. Otherwise, if you decide to waive your right to counsel, you are advised that you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say, especially in conversation with the prosecutor, your statements can and will be used against you. Today, you will be speaking to Prosecutor Don Henderson, and if there's a possibility for a resolution, it's up to you to decide how the law will impact the facts of your case if you decide to take a plea today. You understand, sir?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right. Bryant Norman. Not present. All right. Mr. Henderson, I'm going to place you in a breakout room with Michael Newland.
Judge, could you lead me in since I'm the only one watching the calendar? And
Ms. Riley is back for positions 11 onwards.
oh, okay.
Yes, I'm back.
All right. Ms. Smith, the host, if you could place Michael Newland and Don Henderson in a breakout room to discuss that case. Bryant Norman is not present. Sandy Phillip. Sandy Denoen Phillip, not present. Ms. Riley, what's your announcement for position 15?
Your Honor, that has been referred to diversion. I'd let Mr. Fortis know that the diversion program will be in touch with him and Ms. Reed.
All right.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fortis, Diana Reed's case is going to be, you need to review the application for pretrial diversion, submit that to the appropriate person, and then see if your client qualifies, and that case will then move on that alternative route, okay?
Great. Thank you, Judge. It's good to
All
see
right.
you. Thank you so much.
You too, thank you. This case will be reset for pretrial diversion. If it doesn't qualify, then Ms. Riley, please make sure it's back on the Orca calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Fortis. You're free to go. Have a great weekend. All right, moving on, we are going to position 13. First name is Nolan. Last name is the entire alphabet, beginning with the letter P. P-H-O-U-A, I think it's Phua, N-E-S-O-U-B-A-N-H. Is that person present? Renee Suban. That's the best I can do. First name is Novan, N-O-V-A-N. Not present. Terry Porter, not present. Position 16, Ricky Tasley. Scott Thomas. Brian Walsh. Attorney Richard Blevins. Desiree Williams. Cheris Young.
Your Honor, the state will be presenting a null pros in that case.
Position 20 is null pros. Moving on to my add-on calendar. Ontaz Cox. Attorney Russell Burnett. Previous Parker. Attorney George White.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. White, is your attorney, George Thomas White, informed of this calendar?
Can you say that again?
Do you have an attorney?
No, ma'am.
All right. I see an attorney by the name of George White. Has he ever represented you?
I think that's the same dude when I used to come inside the court. He used to represent me inside, but I haven't got into contact with him outside.
Your Honor, I have from the previous calendar on January 28th that he was applying for the Public Defender's Office and he pled not guilty and 10 days to file motions.
All right, Mr. Parker, you still haven't got an attorney. Would you like to speak to the Public Defender's Office? I don't know if you qualify. Otherwise, would you like to speak to the prosecutor, Ms. Riley, to see if you can resolve your case?
Yeah, I'll try talking to Ms. Riley.
All right, please remember that you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Any statements you make about the facts, your statements can and will be used against you. Since you are speaking to the prosecutor without counsel, you will be responsible for understanding how the law impacts your particular case. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Smith, if you could please place Mr. Parker and Ms. Riley in a breakout room, please. Pierre Shy, position 3 on the add-on calendar. Pierre Shy. And we have Christopher Jacobs, who's in the courtroom. His attorney is Timothy McCaleb. All right, Mr. Jacobs, I don't know what to tell you. Your attorney needs to be here to speak to the counsel, or would you like to speak to the prosecutor yourself? That's entirely up to you. Please stand up, sir. If you would like to come around to this microphone. While we're waiting, Mr. Henderson, what's the announcement for
Come around.
Mr. Newland?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear. Somebody's talking over you. I'm gonna null process that case, Your Honor.
All right, position 10.
Mr. Newland's back with us.
Mr. Newland, can you hear me? All right, if you want to unmute your screen. Mr. Henderson has announced that the prosecution is not going to move forward with your case, so your case is closed. You are free to go.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Jacobs, this is your second appearance for this calendar. Your attorney has a duty to appear and represent you, especially now you've indicated that you paid him for his services.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any conversation with your attorney regarding appearing in court?
No.
And you are certain you paid him and he represents you?
I still got the receipts on my phone.
All right. What's
Pay with
your
my company
attorney's-
card, as a
What's
matter
your
of fact.
attorney's phone number?
It's gonna be disconnected.
All right. We're going to, okay, have a seat back there and we're going to find the number for Timothy McCaleb and confirm whether he represents you.
Okay.
This is Mr. McCaleb. Mr. Jacobs is accused or charged with reckless conduct. And Ms. Riley, is she representing him? I'm sorry, Ms. Riley representing the state on this one, or is it Mr. Henderson? This is the
I think I am.
add-on.
I believe I'm representing the state on this, but I am not inclined to speak to him until that attorney has
Confirmed.
acknowledged or withdrawn or something.
All right, okay. All right, now, I see a few people on the Zoom. Is there anyone who is present, but I did not call your name?
No.
I see a Deshauna, but I'm not sure.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here, Your Honor.
Are you a defendant or observer or witness? Who are?
Oh, I'm a defendant. I was charged with
What's your full name?
Deshauna McWilliams.
Spell your last name.
MC capitalized WAINE.
Please position 8. Okay. Ms. Deshauna McWilliams is now present, cited with reckless conduct. Counsel for the prosecution is Mr. Henderson. Ms. McWilliams, are you represented by counsel?
No, ma'am. I mean, no, Your Honor.
And have you applied for the public defender's office? Would you like to?
No, no, ma'am.
Okay. Would you like to speak to the prosecutor then about trying to resolve your case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you say, your comments about the facts can and will be used against you. The right to counsel, but if you choose to waive your right to counsel at the present time, you would be responsible for understanding how the facts apply to your case, how the law applies to the facts of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Smith, if we could place Ms. McWilliams in a breakout room with Mr. Henderson, please. All right, I have a Nokia X100. I don't know who that is.
My name is Sandy Phillips.
All right, and could you start your video, please?
This is my first time using it. I do not know what I'm doing.
Well, now you've muted yourself, so I can't hear you.
My name is Sandy Phillips.
All right, I got you. I've got a Sandy Dwayne Phillips accused of simple battery, but I need to see your face.
Yes.
So you can
How
even
do I
leave.
do it?
There is an option at the bottom where it says start video.
Start video. I don't see that.
Is there a teenager nearby you?
Yes.
Oh, call the teenager, please.
All right. I got somebody now. He said it's at the bottom.
So, ma'am, you say it's at the bottom?
If you're a teenager, look at the screen. It's very easy. It's at the bottom where it says mute. It's got a lot of options for the Zoom. I'm hoping that you connected video or your device allows for video.
I'm actually not a teenager, and I'm trying. I see like let me see. Okay, so I think I got it up here on gallery, and it says more.
All right, get away from gallery and go down to, I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm not familiar with this particular phone. But all I can tell you is that if you're in the Zoom application, they give you the options at the bottom of the screen. In your case, it might be at the top of the screen, where it tells you how to mute, how to screen share.
I think yes, ma'am. I think I pulled it up here. Hold on. Here it is. You got look right there. That's what she's saying at the bottom. You cannot hit and one of them.
All right, okay. Ready now?
No.
Hello?
So, Mr. Phillip, this is what I recommend. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Sandy Phillip, your case is 20 COV 0000235. This is a calendar to get a status of your case to see if you want to try to discuss it with the prosecutor, resolve it. Otherwise, we will arraign the case for trial. You have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say is about the facts, your statements can be used against you. Are you represented by counsel?
No, ma'am. I don't have no lawyer yet. Unless they're gonna send me one, give me one.
Have you applied for the public defender's office?
Yes.
When did you apply? All right, Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? All right. Mr. Henderson, what's your announcement for Ms. McWane?
Oh, we have discussed the case, Your Honor. I believe her son's now been diagnosed with autism. She's taking things under control, and so I'm going to dismiss the case.
Has this been accused? Are we going to do a null clause then?
Yes.
No. Position 8 is going to be a null clause. So Ms. McWane, the state is not going to pursue a prosecution in this matter, and the case is closed. You are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Henderson, while Ms. Riley is still in her breakout, we have Sandy Phillip, who's having some serious technical issues. I don't know whether he's back on the Zoom. Ms. Smith, has he fallen out of the Zoom?
He's joining us now.
Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Mr. Phillip, if you can hear me, just say something as soon as you're connected to the audio. Mr. Phillip, unmute your screen. We can't hear you. Unmute. We cannot hear you. You have not activated the audio. Mr. Phillip, it is not working out using Zoom for your case. I'm going to require you to run this on. Cannot hear you, Mr. Phillip. Can't hear you. You haven't activated the audio. You have to start audio. Right, James, any progress with Mr. McKenna?
Said something about back office, phone number, whatever the case may be, but they are one to represent how you need
Okay, well,
I have an email address. Also got online. Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs, we got in touch with your attorney who claims that they did not get notice. Really have to assign hands on. All right, look up the phone number on your phone. You have it?
Yeah, I have.
Is it 404-474-3700?
One second.
Mr.
then this
Phillip,
one,
have
and
you
then this
started your
one.
audio yet?
So 404.
Mr. Phillips, his Zoom needs to start his audio because we can't hear you at all. Mr. Phillip, since the Zoom is not working out for you, please come down to 136 Prior Street in courtroom G33. I'll expect you here within an hour and a half. All right, 404.
Okay.
474.
474.
404, 474, 3700.
I'm sorry, I missed that. It's 474-3700.
00.
Okay.
And when would you like to come back? Since your attorney is now aware that he's representing you. Next Friday?
I would have to consult with him. I mean, oh, they're prepared. They're prepared. Okay, well, let's go for next Friday. I mean, that way we can all talk. Golly.
Okay, let's keep this information, Mr. And you are noticed, sir, next Friday, 9 a.m.
All right.
I will be talking refund right now, but that's entirely up to you.
Yep.
All right, so you be safe.
All right, thank
for
you.
being here again.
All right.
Miss Riley, what's the announcement for Mr. Parker?
Mr. Parker is filling out plea paperwork, Your Honor. That will be a plea this morning.
And he'll be, okay, so he'll be able to send in the paperwork, including the waiver of counsel?
Yes, he indicated that he will be able to convert those to PDFs and get them back to Ms. Stallworth.
All right, Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Sandy Phillip. Mr. Sandy Phillip, can you hear me? He doesn't have his audio connected. Mr. Sandy Phillip, your audio is not connected. All right, Mr. Anderson, is there anyone who's appeared late for court? All right. After we're done with Travis Parker, we will go over the no-shows. And Mr. Anderson and Ms. Riley go over these multiple no-shows we have on the 9 o'clock, make a decision as to whether you want to still proceed with the case. If you do, we'll do a one reset. And if they still don't show up, there's going to be a serious consideration for either dismissal or a bench warrant, depending on the circumstances of that case. All right. We have our show cause calendar at 11 a.m. Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Mr. Phillips. Travis Parker, can you hear me? Travis Parker.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Parker, are you able to get all the documents printed filled
I'm
out.
looking at the documents right now on my phone. I'm trying to see which ones I'm supposed to sign.
Okay, make sure that you read it carefully and check off the options. Make sure those spots are all filled out. And then you save it. Make sure you also see a document where it talks about waiver of counsel because you're proceeding, representing yourself, so you need to review that document as well. You understand?
Can you repeat that again? I ain't hear you.
Where are you located?
I'm in the house.
I can see that. Where is that location? Is that close to the courthouse at 1836 Bryan Street?
You can come down there.
I can come down there.
Good. We'll see you within the hour.
You want me to come down there now?
Yes, please. G33.
All right.
We'll see you here before 10:30 a.m. Thank you. And Ms. Riley, please email the documents to Ms. Stallworth.
Your Honor, she was CC'd on the email that I sent to Mr. Parker.
All right, thank you. As soon as he gets here, he'll fill out the paperwork first. After last Friday, I'm very, very leery about back and forth emails. All right, Mr. Parker, I expect you here in the courtroom by 10:30 a.m. Otherwise, I'll issue a bench warrant for your arrest. Thank you. Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Oh, do we have a phone number? Check. All right, folks, we'll be in a 10-minute recess. And then we'll come back and address the no-shows, okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, iPhone is just now joining. I hope that's Mr. Phillip. I hope it's him. I don't know.
All right, someone just connected on the iPhone. Could you tell me who that is?
Alexis Bryant.
Alexis Bryant is position 2. Ms. Bryant, can you start your video, please? Ms. Bryant, you didn't start your video. You muted your call. Ms. Bryant, can you hear me? You need to. Ms. Bryant, please unmute your call. Sandy Phillip, please. Can you hear me? Sandy Phillips, MIA. Ms. Bryant, you have activated your mute. Please unmute your Zoom so you can hear me, or I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, Ms. Bryant.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all I can see is the ceiling.
They didn't say I had to have my face in the camera. They just said the camera had to be on.
No, ma'am. I don't know who they is, but I'm Judge Law and I need your face on that screen.
Ma'am, I have one hand and my phone is on the charger.
Yeah, what?
I have one hand and my phone is on the charger.
She has what hand?
I have one hand, I have a cast on my hand and my phone is on the charger. That's why I had to sit down.
So just move your face until it's on the screen. There you go. I can see you. Ms. Bryant, I know you have something on your hair, but you are in court right now, and it's a requirement that we have to see the individual. This is a recorded proceeding. I have no other way of verifying that you are who you are.
I just showed you my face so you know who I am.
Okay, now this is what you're going to do. You're going to come down to 136 Prior Street in courtroom G33. I have a calendar at 11 a.m. I expect you to be in the courtroom. So you can dress appropriately and make sure you are down here by 11 a.m. You understand?
I don't have a way down there. That was the point of me doing the Zoom meeting.
All right, then I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go and get yourself presentable so that you can be on the screen.
How am I going to go get myself presentable?
Ms. Bryant, are you going to be polite or do you want me to just go ahead and have the sheriff come and pick you up?
I'm polite. What are you talking about?
Okay, good. I'm asking for your face to be on the screen. Don't give me any more excuses. Thank you. All right. Ms. Bryant is case number 20 COB 000234, charged with criminal trespass on June 13th, 2020. Ms. Bryant, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you've already applied for the public defender's office and you qualify, they will represent you. Otherwise, you would have to have your own attorney or choose to represent yourself. How would you like to proceed?
I have a question, ma'am. The person my case is with, my mom is deceased. How do I go about getting the, why is the case still going on and she deceased? She can't defend herself. The case is like.
All right, so Ms. Bryant, how are you proceeding? Do you want the assistance of the public defender's office? You would have to apply for their services, which means that you would have to come down and apply in person, or you would need to, or you can choose to represent yourself or hire your own attorney. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna get the assistance.
All right. We will see you here by 11 a.m. Otherwise, if you are comfortable using your phone, you can obtain an application, fill that out this morning, send it back to the public defender's office. And if you qualify, they will represent you. What would you like to do?
Like I said, I don't have a way down there. So is there a way I can get the application on the phone? This is just what I don't get is that, oh, why am I?
Ms. Bryant, if you put your application, if you put your email in the chat, we will send you an application.
All right, so while Ms. Bryant is applying, Mr. Phillips is still trying to connect to audio. All right, we'll be in reset. Ms. Vogel, I'm going to let you go ahead and communicate with Ms. Bryant. Ms. Smith, could we put Ms. Bryant's Zoom on mute, please? And as soon as Mr. Phillips appears, hopefully we'll be able to discuss his case with you. Thank you. 5-minute recess. I just want to go over the no-shows and then we'll come back and address those. Mr. Phillip, can you hear me? Mr. Phillip, if you called in on the phone 404-399-1026, please unmute the phone device. Whoever is on the phone, 404-399-1026, please unmute. Sandy Phillip, we cannot hear you at all. Person calling in on phone number 404-399-1026, please unmute your device so we can hear you. Yes, who is calling on phone number ending in 1026? Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, is that you, Mr. Phillip?
Yes, ma'am. This is Mr. Phillips.
All right, Mr. Phillip, where are you physically located today? What's your address where you're at?
521 Oliver Street.
Where?
521 Oliver Street. Atlanta,
Which
Georgia.
city? Which city?
Ma'am?
Which city?
I can't hear you.
What city are you in?
Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. You need to come here in person to 136 Pryor Street in Atlanta, Georgia, at the courthouse in courtroom G33.
When do you want me to do that?
Look at the notice
Hello?
that you were sent. You need to come down.
Say that again?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Come down to 160 Pryor Street. You need to come down to the courtroom.
Okay, when should I need to come to the court now?
You need to be, you need to be here before 11 a.m.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
Okay. Today?
Today.
You talking about today?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you do not show up, I will issue a bench warrant for your arrest.
You're such a bench warrant. I'm trying to get a ride there, man. My ride has just left
Sir,
earlier this morning.
your Zoom is not efficient. I cannot discuss your case through Zoom. You need to be down here in person. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Before 11 a.m. It's
Okay.
136, right?
What is it?
136. The address is
126
the address is 136 Pryor Street.
136 Fly Street.
136 Pryor Street.
Okay.
Courtroom G33.
Courtroom GG 333. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Courtroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Business. Yeah. I'm sorry, 160. Yeah. Is building J3.
J3. Okay.
J3.
Thank you.
See you before 11 a.m. Make sure you bring all your paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we may have to bring some applications down to the courtroom. I think Ms. Helen is here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Ms. Fogel, did you manage to get the application to Ms. Bryan?
I did email it, Your Honor. She hasn't sent anything back yet. She's probably filling it out.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Anderson, do you want to address, or Ms. Riley, do you want to address the add-on calendar
Yes, Your Honor.
while we're waiting for anyone who's ready to address their case? I have position one, Ontes Cox. The case is assigned to Judge Mather. We've had two return to senders back in January 22nd, 2020, and March 18, 2020. Is Highland Road address, avenue address appears to not be a good address. That's the only address we have on file. There's been no change of address, and he's not shown up. He was previously set on January 28th, and it was reset to today, and it still hasn't shown up. Anything to add, Mr. Henderson?
I'm sorry, which calendar is this, Judge?
This is the add-on calendar, position one, Ontes Cox.
And excuse me, Your Honor, it's titled for us Orca D status calendar.
Oh, okay.
It has 4 positions.
There's 2 calendars, Judge. There is that one status that I
It's the same.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's the one with 4 cases on it.
And we're proceeding on Cox.
All right, he's not shown up. What would you like to do?
Issue a bench warrant, Judge, if the court pleases.
Under the circumstances, a bench warrant is going to issue. Position 2 is a plea, and hopefully Mr. Parker is on the way. Position 3, Pierre Shy. Pierre Shy has not appeared. And let me see, he was previously arrested for failure to appear on July 2016. Bond was forfeited. An arrest warrant was issued on February 12, 2020. He was arrested on February 18, 2020. He made bond. It was a signature bond through the jail. At which time the victim had appeared and advocated for the defendant. The signature bond was issued, and was advised of no further contact with the victim. He was scheduled on the January 28th, 2022 calendar. He did not appear. The case was reset to today. He has not appeared. What would the state like to do?
We're going to proceed on it, Judge. We'd ask for a bench warrant again for this defendant that seems to have trouble getting to court.
All right. And position 4, Christopher Jacobs, which was the individual who appeared in court, that case is reset to February 25th at 9 a.m. His counsel, Timothy McCaleb, claims that they did not receive notice, so we already notified his office today, gotten the updated phone number and his email, and we will expect them to appear next Friday. Mr. Jacobs will appear in court. All right. That's the 4-case calendar. Moving on to the main calendar. Position 1, Mildred Brown is accused of theft by shoplifting from July 2nd, 2020.
That's going to be an all pros, Your Honor.
All right. Position 2, Alexis Bryant. She is present and reviewing an application with the PD's office. Anthony Corbett, charged with simple battery, position 3, from June 1st, 2020. Mr. Corbett's accusation was filed on February 7th, 2022. This will be his first no-show. I can reset him for a show cause. What's a good date? Oh, I'm sorry, did you say March? Would it be April? I'm sorry?
It was just a minute. We're trying to.
Oh, okay. We're going to reset it to a show cause calendar, one time only for him to show up. I do not have a return Sunday. So April 5th? April 1st. Oh, well, okay, there we go, guys. April 1st. This will be the show cause calendar. It may be at 9 o'clock, maybe at 11 o'clock. Position 4, Amanda Delgado. Amanda Delgado. Ms. Delgado is not present. Accusation was filed on February 7th. And we'll reset her to April 1st for a show cause. And it will be April 1st at 11 a.m. for positions 3 and 4. Position 5, Scott Dobbs. Scott Dobbs. Mr. Dobbs is presently incarcerated at Fulton County Jail. So I'm going to reset that to the SAP calendar. Do we know? Let's see, what's he booked in on? Mr. Dobbs is booked in on a $5,000 good bond. He's been in since May 22nd, 2021 on a felony charge. So I'm going to reset him to the SAP calendar, and that would be for, what's the calendar for?
Your Honor, that'll be a null pros.
Oh, that'll be an all pro. Okay. Position 5 is an all pros. Thank you, sir. Position 6, I have Robert Irby, accused of criminal trespass. He is not appeared. And what would the state like to do?
That's going to be an all pros, Judge.
Position 7, Vincente Jones. Vincente Jones. Mr. Jones is presently incarcerated. Notice was returned. He was booked into the Fulton County Jail on October 1st, 2020 on 4 separate felony burglary charges. Been in custody now for since then.
That's going to be an all pros, Judge.
Position 9, Brandon Mcwilliams, accused of disorderly conduct. And this was from July 8th, 2020. Amended accusation was filed on February 15th, 2022, 2 days ago. Disorderly conduct. What would the state like to do?
And Your Honor, I will mention he is a co-defendant to position 12 on this calendar, Sandy Phillip.
Well, you all want to hold off on that?
Yes, Your Honor, we would
Reset for show cause?
reset it for show cause. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This will be reset to April 1st.
Same on Mr. Mcwilliams.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Phillips on his way down here, so that's good. But Mr. Mcwilliams will be reset to April 1st at 11 a.m. Position 10 was Norcross. Position 11, Bryant Norman carrying a concealed weapon. And position 11.
Your Honor, the state will proceed with a bench warrant.
Well, this one is his first time on the Orca calendar, so I'll reset it to a show cause calendar at 11 a.m.
Okay.
And I have a return to sender. So the address we have on file is 520 Fulton Street. And that is unable, insufficient address. So let me know what y'all want to do on April 1st. Okay. Position 12 is on the way. Position 13, Novan, last name initial begins with a P. And he was accused of criminal trespass back on June 17, 2020. What would you like to do, Ms. Riley?
Your Honor, the state will no prospect.
What about position 14, criminal trespass from May 28th?
The state will proceed.
Position 14. Any particular reason? I don't have a good address.
Your Honor, I would believe it is the defendant's, burden to keep his address current with the court. He did know this case was pending, and we can proceed on the citation.
In that case, we have two addresses. What is sent to the latest one? Position 14. Notice was sent, notice was sent to Washington Street. Okay, this will be a final reset to April 1st. If it doesn't appear, we may seriously have to consider checking this one out. 7 a.m. Deanna Reed is reset for pre-trial diversion. 16, 17, and 18 are all no-shows. Let's start with position 16. Ricky Tasley, disorderly conduct. Ms. Riley, what would you like to do?
Your Honor, we'll proceed for the one-time reset for show cause.
Scott Thomas.
Same announcement, Your Honor.
Theft by receiving stolen property. Let's see. These are all bad addresses. Okay. And Brian Walsh.
Same announcement. Yes, Your Honor.
On position 17, was the item returned back to the owner? I see.
No, Your Honor.
No. Position 19, Desiree Williams.
That would be the same announcement. Show cause, Your Honor.
The ones where they have no addresses, we have no addresses, we have no way of keeping up. And so we're going to send another notice. It's going to go back to the same address on file. And if there's no way of reaching out to these individuals, I think the state would have to consider an alternative path, because I don't have an address. The clerk's office doesn't have an address. Not sure a bench warrant is going to serve any merit if the case, if the charges are just simply, if it's a criminal trespass or something to that effect, as I said, theft by receiving stolen property. I'm not certain if you want to reach out to the victim to see if they still want to pursue the matter. For position 19, I can understand the merit of proceeding with a reset on a show cause. So that one we reset to the first 11 a.m. Position 20 is a null for us. Okay, we're going to wait on Mr. Parker and Mr. Phillip to appear, and then we will resume with our 11 o'clock. Okay, thank you. We'll be in recess till then. Thank you.
Oh,
Ms. Gant, anything to announce?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bryant qualifies for the services of the public defender. And at this time, I would like to speak to the prosecutor, please.
Certainly. Ms. Smith, if we could place Mr. Henderson and Ms. Gant in a breakout room, please. Thank you. It is 10:24 and I'm still expecting Mr. Phillips and Mr. Parker to appear in the courtroom. Thank you. Ms. Riley, Mr. Parker is in the courtroom and he's reviewing the documents and we will take his case up as soon as he's done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. She's on now, iPhone.
All right, great. Ms. Gant, are we ready to proceed with Ms. Bryant's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Alexis Bryant in 20 COV 000234 is represented by the Public Defender's Office, charged with criminal trespass from a June 13, 2020 incident. Mr. Henderson, do we have an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. Considering the evidence and the situation, I'm going to enter a null pros for that.
All right. Okay. Ms. Bryant, the prosecution, after discussing the case with your attorney, has decided to close the case out, so they're not going to pursue a prosecution any further. You are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Gant. Mr. Parker, how are we doing? Almost done or done? Repeat. You're done. All right, if you come and walk all the way around, please, and come to the podium. Yeah. We are going to address position number 2 on the add-on calendar, or the the 4 case calendar. This is State versus Travius Parker, 17 CR 024857G. Mr. Travius Parker is present in the courtroom, and Prosecutor Denise Riley is available via Zoom. If you look at the screen, sir, you should recognize Ms. Riley. Mr. Parker was charged with battery and simple battery from the April 21st, 2017 incident. Mr. Parker, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. And even though our calendar indicates you are represented by George White, today you've decided to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you do understand that by representing yourself, that you're responsible for understanding how the law applies to the facts of your case and how it may impact your personal situation or any other open cases you may have. Is that your understanding?
No.
You need to say yes or no.
I say yes, ma'am.
It needs to pick up clearly on the microphone. Okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Parker, I understand that you are ready to take a plea. Ms. Riley, is this a negotiated plea?
It is, Your Honor.
All right.
The
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the state's recommendation is a plea to the battery, 12 months probation. He is to complete a family violence intervention program, and the balance of probation can be suspended upon completion of the program.
All right. Any contact or stay away provisions?
No violent contact, Your Honor. And I do not have the victim's name. I have to look that up.
Okay. And are we going to not cross the simple battery?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Parker, it appears that the offer is that you will be on probation for 12 months to complete a 6-month domestic violence intervention program at your expense. Once you complete that program, then the probation will terminate. And in the meantime, you have to have no violent contact with the alleged victim. Is that your understanding of the terms?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. For purposes of the plea, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the responses you provide to my questions will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You just need to speak up, sir. All right. This is a recorded proceeding, and it is a plea, and it needs to be on record.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Parker, if you decide to accept these terms, you would have to agree that the allegations, the factual basis, as stated by the prosecutor, is correct, that the venue, that is, that the alleged incident occurred in Fulton County, is correct, and that the alleged identity of the perpetrator, that is you, is correct. So
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
agree that all these 3 factors are correct as alleged by the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any kind of medication or alcoholic beverages?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have already reviewed the plea documents, and have you filled them out correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm just going to ask you some questions just to make sure that you understand what you are giving up in exchange for this plea. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to accept the plea, you would have to give up your rights to go back to court, to have a trial before a judge or a jury, to be able to have the assistance of counsel to challenge the state's evidence, present evidence of your defenses, or to examine witnesses, confront your accuser, argue your case before a judge or a jury, and also have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to take a plea today?
No, ma'am.
How do you plead to the one count of battery?
Plead guilty.
I'll accept your guilty plea. The second charge of simple battery is going to be null prost. Your sentence is going to be 12 months of probation, during which time you will complete a 6-month program for the domestic violence intervention program, and you would have to pay for those classes yourself. Today is February. I'm going to waive your probation fees for the next 8 months, including February. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You will report to probation every month, and your first report date will be on Tuesday, no later than Tuesday, and it is at 132 Mitchell Street. There's a pen over there if you want to write that down.
Metro Street.
132 Mitchell Street.
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Your probation fees will be waived for 8 months, including the month of February. Which means that as soon as you enroll in the program and you get it done, the only payment you're required to make is to the program, not to probation. But if you take longer than 8 months to complete the domestic violence program, you will start paying probation fees in addition to finishing out the program.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. That concludes the case. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget to report to probation. And did you want a copy of these documents?
Ma'am.
I need you to fill this form out for probation.
There we go. It's 3 documents. We can get him a copy. All right, Ms. Riley, that concludes the case for Mr. Parker. The only other matter we're waiting on is Mr. Phillip. So we'll be in recess until he appears or when we call our 11 a.m. calendar. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Riley, Mr. Phillips is in the courtroom, position 12. All right, Mr. Phillips, the reason I summoned you here in person is because, number one, I think we're going to have a lot of difficulty over the phone since you're not familiar with Zoom.
Sure.
All right.
That's fine.
This is a case 20 COV 000235, in which you were charged with simple battery, along with another gentleman, Mr. Brandon Mcwilliams. Is that the co-defendant for that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, but they have a different incident dates. Are you sure you have the right co-defendant?
I just have written here that he is the co-defendant to position 12, but I can double check.
Okay, so right now it's just Mr. Phillip accused of a simple battery from June 18, 2020. Mr. Phillip, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you can apply for the services of the Public Defender's Office, or you can hire your own attorney, or you can choose to represent yourself. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to have an attorney.
Okay. Ms. Helen, do you have an application for him?
I do.
All right, we're going to give you an application. There's a pen right there on the table. You need to review the application. As soon as you're done, you give it to that young lady.
Ma'am, well, Your Honor, I can't read and all that. I'm illiterate. You know, I'm a psych patient, and I don't really know what's going on. I'm trying to see what I'm in court for. I don't know what's going on.
All
really.
right, Ms. Helen, if you want to step outside with him, you can maintain at least 6 to 10 feet away, and she's
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
ask you the questions from the form to
Okay.
see if you can be represented.
Can do that?
Yeah. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to have Ms. Helen confer with Mr. Phillips to see if he qualifies for the Public Defender's Office. And then we will resume as soon as she's available. We have 10 more minutes to our 11 a.m. calendar.
Your Honor, the link for the 11 a.m. is the same, so I'll just allow them to wait in the waiting room until such time as you're ready for the 11.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ms. Smith, is the host with regards to the 11 a.m. Show cause calendar. This is Judge Law, and I'm assuming that everyone was given the same link that for the 11 a.m. as you had for the 9 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
So we will begin with our show cause calendar for 11 a.m. If you could let all the participants in, please.
As of right now, we don't have anyone in the waiting room, so I don't.
Not a good sign, but we do
Not a
have
good
some-
sign.
Yeah, but we do have someone in the courtroom. We have Mr. Gray, which is position number 6, represented by counsel Mr. Kenneth Mitchell. Okay. Ms. Riley, are you prosecuting for this case?
Your Honor, Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
And what position number do you have him as? Because I'm not.
Antonio Gray, Gray, for the 11 a.m. calendar, position 6.
Yes. I do show Mr. Gray here.
All right. We have counsel Kenneth Mitchell present. He is in the courtroom. He can either connect on the Zoom link. All right, and then I will place you, if you want to step outside and connect on the Zoom link, then I'll place both of you in the breakout room. All right. And Mr. Gray, please remember you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of the case, statements can be used against you. And Ms. Riley and your counsel will discuss the case outside. You're more than welcome to join them and to see whether y'all can reach a resolution. All right. Ms. Smith, Mr. Kenneth Mitchell is going to connect on the Zoom. If you can let him into the meeting, and then we can have a breakout room with Ms. Riley. And I understand that Public Defense Attorney Ms. Helen is still discussing with Mr. Phillips in the hallway as well. So until they come back, we'll be able to address that. But otherwise, presently, let's see what's going on with the other cases. Position 1 is Sam Al Hubishi. Mr. Hubishi, this is a DUI case or charges from March 2010. He did have a bench warrant issued on June 20th, 2012. It looks like he still has an outstanding bench warrant. What would be the prosecutor like to do at this time? Yes, Mr. Mitchell? You'd like to unmute?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you need me to request to go to a breakout room, or that's after you call the calendar?
No, you're good. You're good. Just hang in there. You'll see a note on your screen that says join breakout. And if you could disable your hand raise.
Will do.
Thank you. All right, going back to position 1. Mr. Henderson,
Position 1 on which calendar, Judge? I'm sorry.
this is the Orca show cause calendar. These cases were reset from a prior Orca calendar. And Mr. Al Hubishi has still not appeared. On Odyssey, it appears that he already has an outstanding warrant that was issued on June 20th, 2012 by Judge Besson. What would the state like to do at this time?
We're going to wait until we find Mr. Al Hubishi.
All right, I'm going to issue a bench warrant for this calendar. Position number 2, Rashid Allen Bay. Rashid Allen Bay.
That's the return to sender.
I'm sorry? So Mr. Rashid Allen Bay, I don't have anyone in the waiting room, and so he has not appeared for this calendar. Mr. Bay's case is simple assault, criminal trespass, and simple battery domestic violence from May 2017. He had a first appearance before Judge Atkinson, a former magistrate, on November 13, 2017, and he was given a signature bond to jail. Since then, we have not been able to reach him. We have returned notices in August of 2019, October of 2019, March of 2020, and now January 18, 2022. There is no good address on Mr. Allen Bay. What would the state like to do?
We're going to proceed, Judge. We'll get him in once he, gets found somewhere.
All right, a bench warrant to issue. Joseph Burge. And Ms. Smith, if anybody appears in the waiting room, just immediately send them out into the waiting room. So Joseph Burge is position 3, 15 CR 003182. This is for DUI under the influence of drugs, driving while license suspended, and failure to obey signs and control devices from May 11, 2013. We did have a bench warrant that was issued. He did fail to appear in court on February 2018. A bench warrant was issued on March 2018.
Move for a bench warrant, Your Honor.
It looks like there was another one on March 27. Hang on one second. Mr. Burge. Yeah, no, he did appear in court on March 27, 2020. And a new bond was set, and he did make bond, surety bond, on March 27, 2020. And to that date, he has not amended his address, and we have a return to sender on February 2024, 2022. He still has not appeared, so we can issue a bench warrant.
Ask for a bench warrant. Let his surety find him.
And position 4, Dylan Embry. Dylan Embry. Right, no one's been in the waiting room. And this one was returned to sender on February 1st of 2022. We had an entry of appearance by attorney Jonathan Kester on January 7th, 2021. We can reach out to attorney Kester. Would you like to call him, please? Phone number is 404-848-2013. We're gonna hold for attorney Kester's report. Laconda Ferrer, position 5, 17 CR 014357G. We have attorney Jonathan Majeski. He's entered an appearance, and Mr. Ferrer and Mr. Majeski are not present. And we're going to give him a call before. Yes, John Majeski's phone number is 404-863-8019. Just to hold on Mr. Majeski's report. Mr. Gray is present, and his attorney Kenneth Mitchell is conferring with Ms. Riley. Gore Lauren, position 7. Gore Lauren, position 7. She had gotten a previous bench warrant on October 23rd, 2020. She made a new bond. So far, we've got no return to sender, and she has still not appeared before. What would the state like to do?
Bench warrant, Your Honor.
Bench warrant for position 7. Position 8, Raphael Lemus. Mr. Henderson, this case has been pending since the year 2000. Since 2022, we've not had any response until January 29, 2021. This was for driver's license not on person running a red light and carrying a concealed weapon. Mr. Lemus's case, was we did have the arrest warrant voided on January 29, 2021. So he did appear, he provided us with an address at Corey Drive. Notice was sent, we did not have a return to sender. What would you like to do?
I'm not going to reward someone for not coming back to court, Your Honor. We'll proceed on that bench warrant. It involves a weapon also, so.
Sharon Sherman, position number 9, case 17 CR 027782G. 2 counts of DUI and failure to maintain lane from a 2016 incident. Counsel withdrew from the case in March of 2021. I do not have a return to sender, and Mr. Sherman has not appeared. What would the state like to do?
Bench warrant, Your Honor.
Harry Bell Thompson, position 10. Oh, Mr. Bell is present. Okay. Mr. Bell, if you'd like to come around, not through those double doors, but walk all the way to the end.
Who's present, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Position number 10, he's
Oh,
at the
okay.
podium. This is Harry Bell Thompson, case 17 CR 008479G. Mr. Bell was cited with DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, in September 2015. Mr. Thompson, there is actually, there was an arrest warrant issued, but it appears that it was set aside. Then a second arrest warrant was issued on January 9th, 2018. And then there was a set aside on February 7th, 2020. Looks like the warrant is still pending against you. And we have a Inkberry Drive address.
It's incorrect address.
That's the address that was provided to us. After that is 967 Burn Street.
I've changed it to my current address multiple times, but for some reason.
When's the last time you changed it?
Probably 2 years ago.
With the court?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you change it? Through counsel, or did you come down and change it in person?
I came down to change it in person.
Where?
There's I think it's called the clerk's office. I'm not sure.
This building?
Yes, ma'am. Well, not on this side. It was another side. It says it's an employee's entrance now. I came through that
2
side.
years ago. We have no entries since February 7th, 2020. Is that when you did it?
I'm not sure when. I apologize.
All right.
I actually wouldn't have even known if someone didn't tell me about the court date. It somehow was sent to the wrong address still. And luckily I know who lives there and they told me.
So Mr. Thompson, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Any statements you make, your statements can be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to apply for the services of the Public Defender's Office if you want their services and if you financially qualify. Otherwise, have you retained counsel anytime during the course of these 5-7 years?
He's no longer my lawyer.
Who was your lawyer?
Scott, David Scott.
David Scott. Have you hired anyone since then?
No, ma'am.
All right. What would you like to do then? Attorney wise.
Public defender.
All right. Are you presently employed?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Helen, do you have the application for Mr.
I do.
Thompson? All
Thank you, Judge.
right. Counsel, Ms. Helen is going to give you an application to fill out. You can have a seat back there in the gallery. Once you complete it, give it to her, and she will let you know if you qualify.
Thank you.
All right. Please have a seat.
I do have a question. Is there someone I can email their applications to and we can print it here in court?
You said okay?
And Jonathan Kester on number 4. Don't answer, but I left a detailed message. Hopefully we'll call it back.
So Mr. Henderson, presently for position 5, Laconda Farah, Mr. Majeski is notified that a bench warrant will issue. And for position 4, Dylan Embry, we have not heard back from Mr. Kester's office. So presently a bench warrant is in place to be issued unless he responds before we complete the calendar. All right, moving, Mr. Bell, position 10 on this calendar is going to be applying for the Public Defender's Office. Moving back to Mr. Phillip, position 12 from the 9 o'clock calendar. Ms. Helen, anything to report?
Yes, Judge. I need to unmute this one, correct?
No, you can speak.
I can just speak.
Yeah, you can speak. Go ahead.
Yes, Judge. For position 12, Mr. Phillips does qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. Currently, I am printing out his application and having him sign it, and then I guess just give it directly to you guys.
All right. And if you'd like to confer with Ms. Riley as to what resolution could be reached in this case today.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So how would you like to do that? Would you like to get on the Zoom on your laptop?
I can do a breakout session on the Zoom.
Okay. Ms. Smith, could you place Ms. Catrice Helen and Ms. Denise Riley in a breakout room, please? Mr. Phillip, please have a seat, and Ms. Helen is going to have a discussion with counsel. You might want to step outside, Ms. Helen.
Yes, Judge. Give me 1 second.
Thank you. Ms. Riley, anything to report on the Gray case?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mitchell does not have discovery, so we will have to get discovery to him. His entry was just filed on Wednesday. He would like to review discovery before.
Can you email it to him now? Or do you, where's Mr. Mitchell? Is he outside or?
I believe he's still
Oh,
outside.
there he is. Oh, he's in the car.
No, I just left, Your Honor. I'm on mute, but yeah, I just filed for my entry. Is it okay if I'm joined on Zoom and in the car?
Mr. Mitchell, I've not released you. What are you doing in the car?
Well, we're on.
And now you're going to
We're on
park.
Zoom.
You're going to park your car and then you're going to come back on Zoom. Ms. Smith, please remove Mr. Mitchell from the Zoom. Park your car.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we're going to get Mr. Mitchell back on the Zoom as soon as he's safe. I'm sorry, did the courtroom protocol rules change during the pandemic? That's something I didn't know about. Okay. So Gray is on hold. Bell is waiting application. Phillips is, Ms. Helen's going to be talking to Ms. Riley in a breakout room. Mr. Henderson, I have issued 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bench warrants out of 9 cases on the show cause calendar. So when we conclude, if none of these individuals show up, the bench warrants will move forward, and they will not be placed back on the Orca calendar. They will be sent back to the division judges with the bench warrants outstanding.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So
if I could be sent that breakout room.
yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Smith, Ms. Helen is ready to go into the breakout room. Just look at your Zoom thing and then join, and Ms. Riley will be placed in a breakout room too. Ms. Helen is on the Zoom through her PD, Patrice Helen.
Oh, here goes Ms. Helen.
And we will resume as soon as either Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Phillips, or Mr. Bell's case are going to be addressed. Mr. Bell, did you get the application? As soon as Miss Helen's available, she will give one to you. All right, you just need to be patient. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I got you the wrong name. Let me get. You are Harry Bell Thompson. Yes, I've been calling you by your middle name. Sorry. All right, folks, we'll be in recess until someone's ready. Okay, thank you. Oh, and Ms. Smith, I'm still waiting for Mr. Mitchell to come back on the Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor. Looking for him to come in the waiting room.
All right. On the, Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
On petition 4 for the 11 a.m. calendar, Dylan Embry, Jonathan Kester has responded. And I don't see what the reason was for failure to appear. So the bench warrant is going to move forward. But as I understand, Mr. Kester has been directed to file the appropriate motion to set aside. And we'll give him a date to address the motion to set aside the bench warrant. And that's going to be March 11th. Is that confirmed? March 4th. It's going to be on March 4th. Most likely on show cause. But I'm signing the bench warrant today. All right, that's just an update on the calendar. I'll keep you all.
Thank you.
Updated. All right, Ms. Riley, as soon as Ms. Helen, she's still conferring with Mr. Phillips. Mr. Mitchell is back on the Zoom. Mr. Mitchell, please start your video. And going back to the Gray case. Antonio
My
Gray.
apologies, Your Honor.
No problem. Okay, we have Mr. Gray, who's got these multiple DUI charges, speeding, as well as expired or no driver's license, failure to maintain, and so forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 misdemeanor offenses from 2015. So you are going to submit discovery to Mr. Gray?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this something that can be taken care of this morning?
No, Your Honor, it goes to our legal support staff and someone has to be assigned to send the discovery.
All right. And when's the next court date for arraignment? When would you be ready to arraign the case next? Or address a plea?
Well, the email has already been sent to legal support. So I would think they would have it to him in the next few days, or today's Friday, so next week.
All right, I'll give you all till March 4th at 9 a.m. And if a plea is not negotiated, then we're going to arraign the case for trial. Mr. Gray, that should give you adequate time to review the discovery. This case has been pending a significant period of time. And we are either going to arraign the case for a trial or y'all can try to resolve it through a plea. March 4th, 9 a.m. Any conflicts?
March 4th. That will be a Friday?
Yes.
Okay. Not at this time. Do we have to come back on March 4th for you?
You can either appear via Zoom to take a plea or to have the case arraigned for trial.
Okay. Now, is there anything for our client that I need to update as far as if his address or anything like that?
I would recommend, since we have a bench warrant from May 22nd, 2017.
How do we, is that something you can discharge at this point?
His notice was returned, Judge.
Oh, and his notice was returned as well.
No, it didn't.
It did.
Right.
Okay. Let me see. This is Mr. Gray. I have a South McDonough Street, apartment 9A. Is that correct? In Montgomery.
No, is that an Alabama address?
Yes, sir.
No, he lives in Atlanta now.
All right. So he needs to come down to J150 in the clerk's office and fill out the application for a change of address. And
is that something he can do electronically?
No, sir.
Okay.
That's why shouldn't have run off so fast. We could have all taken care of this.
I saw everybody else on Zoom. I wanted to join the virtual party.
Well, you were here. You were not released.
Okay. And
so
we didn't receive a virtual link, which is why we came. And I'm not sure other defendants may have received links either. We didn't receive a link on our document.
Mr.
So I don't know if that means people.
The only address we have on file is your client's Alabama address. We have an entry of appearance that was filed 2 days ago. So
understood.
And
I have his document.
And the case was reset from January 28th, 2022, because he did not appear, because we do not have a current address. So if your client doesn't want to have the bench warrant issued or executed, I recommend that both of you turn around, come back to court, and I will hear evidence as to why I should set aside the bench warrant. I don't flippantly set aside bench warrants over a phone call. Understood?
I understand, Your Honor.
See you soon. Thank you. Moving on, Ms. Riley, have you addressed the case with Ms. Helen regarding Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Your Honor. I've given the state's recommendation and they believe they wish to proceed.
All right. Ms. Helen is still in conference with Mr. Thomas, so we'll be with her very shortly. Mr. Phillips, as soon as PD Helen is available, we'll address your case. Thank you. And do you have, is this going to be a plea?
No, Judge, this is going to be an arraignment.
Okay. Mr. Phillips, if you could walk around, please, and come up to this microphone. Ms. Riley, we're going to address Mr. Phillips, position 12 from the 9 a.m. Mr. Sandy Denuen Phillips, case number 20 COV 000235, has been charged with simple battery from June 18, 2020. And Mr. Phillips, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and the Public Defender's Office will be representing you. As we move forward from this case today, anytime you change your address, you would need to come down to the clerk's office, which is on the first floor of this building, and let us know what your address is. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that you don't miss out on future court dates.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest for failure. I'm going to arraign your case, which is simply accepting your plea of not guilty and scheduling your case for a trial.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Helen, 2 questions. First, do you waive a reading of the accusation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And second question is, do you wish to have a bench trial?
No, Your Honor, we're requesting a jury trial.
A jury trial, okay. I'm going to issue this a case management order. And the Public Defender's Office is on notice that this order will be issued for a trial calendar with regards to Mr. Phillips. It's going to be filed in honesty. With regards to that, this particular charge, Mr. Phillips, you are charged with a misdemeanor offense, simple battery, allegedly occurring on June 18, 2020 in Fulton County. If you enter a plea of not guilty, the case will be scheduled for a jury trial, at which time the state, the prosecution, would have a complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state prevails, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine.
Okay.
Given this information, how do you feel?
Not guilty.
All right, sir. Your case will be sent to the division judge and scheduled for trial. It's very important that you check your mail and make sure that you show up in person for your court date, especially if you have problems with Zoom. All right. Anything else to add, Ms. Helen?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you. Keep in touch with your attorney, and the case management order is issued today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be in recess until we address Mr. Thomas's case and Mr. Graves on the outstanding bench warrant. Thank you. Two.
That's it?
Yeah. Right. Mr. Thomas is, you're free to go, Mr. Burke.
I'm getting him some
Oh.
more information for the public defender's office.
Mr. Thomas is applying for the public defender's office. And then Mr. Mitchell should be coming back on the outstanding bench warrant. No, it's just two more. Okay.
And go ahead, have a
Thank
seat.
you.
Just have a seat right behind me.
Miss Riley? Mr. Ms. Riley? We have Antonio Gray with counsel, Mr. Mitchell in the courtroom. Do you see them
Yes,
at
Your
the podium? All right. So you said discovery is going to be set forth and his case has not been arraigned. Mr. Gray, you have 8 traffic charges, including multiple DUI charges. Your case has not been arraigned, and I understand that you're represented by counsel, Mr. Mitchell. Now, a bench warrant was issued against you back in for failure to appear previously on May 22nd, 2017. You did not appear until you came back to court on December 10th, 2019, at which time then you gave us a Montgomery, Alabama address. And since then, you have not updated your address.
Yeah.
And then you did not show up in court again on January 28, 2022, and a bench warrant was issued. So, Mr. Mitchell, your client does have a right to remain silent. Anything he says can and will be used against him. Why should I not issue another bench warrant against him?
Well, Your Honor, my client has, since when? Since September 2020, my client was involved in a very, very bad accident. And what were your injuries?
3 broke ribs. My spine was fractured at the top and the bottom. Damage to my cerebellum, major concussion with amnesia, and collapse.
And so the reason why we're bringing this up is because since that point, he had caretakers for him. And so he was not able to come back to Atlanta until his caretaker moved to Atlanta. And he did not update the address, but he finally contacted me last week to come help him resolve this case. I will add that he was in law school in Alabama, actually. He did finish in what year? 2018. He's represented to me that there were times he came, the court date got reset. Then there were times when he had a court date, he didn't come. Just out of good faith, he did state that there were times that it seemed like there was a back and forth as far as when court dates were. And so he drove from Alabama twice, only to learn that the court dates were reset. I do think from his accident, from obviously graduating from law school and understanding how serious the law is, I do think that my client understands now the essentialness of coming to court and being here for yourself and standing up for your rights. And so for those reasons, Your Honor, we would humbly ask that you set aside the bench warrant. He is now in Atlanta permanently. He's still recovering from his accident, but we wanted to come here to help him get this behind him so he could continue his legal career and avail himself to the courts.
All right. I'll accept this at face value. I don't have any proof of this accident or these injuries and so forth. But I'll accept it and I won't issue a bench warrant. And considering that you graduated from law school, have you been admitted to the bar in Alabama or Georgia?
I couldn't take it because of this situation.
Right. So you understand the seriousness of these charges. This is going to be a huge hindrance in your professional career unless you take the matter up seriously. Rule number 1, before you leave a courtroom, always ask the judge for permission. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Riley is going to send your attorney information as to what is the discovery in this case. And hopefully the prosecution and your attorney will be able to resolve this matter and have the charges reduced to something that won't impede your ability to take the bar and pass the certificate of fitness. So Ms. Riley, Mr. Mitchell, how much time would you need in order to see if you can resolve this case? Going to trial on these multiple charges, take your chances, but I think there is room for resolution, especially if he doesn't have any priors.
Well, considering I'm just coming on, I didn't even know it was that many charges. I would like to request at least 60 days to be able to review discovery, especially in an older case.
I'll give you 30 days. And we're gonna reset this case to the end of, to April 1st.
Would that be an arraignment?
That would be a plea and arraignment calendar.
Okay.
So his case has not been arraigned. So y'all can either appear in person or via Zoom. If you have resolved the matter, I would highly recommend that you obtain the plea paperwork from counsel in PDF format to see, at least you have all the paperwork ready to go on April 1st.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for taking it around. Now, I'm so sorry, you're gonna have to make another trip.
Right.
Elevator first floor, J150, and they will accept your current change of address in writing. And make sure that's on the system,
J150.
J150. Yes.
Okay.
And Ms. Petrona,
Kind of what I was representing to you on the phone. We had a document that came to his Montgomery address that he received. Again, we drove down here because it didn't have a Zoom link in the envelope that he had.
I don't know what document you received because all the notices sent out, the front page has a Zoom link. But y'all can, I mean, I honestly don't.
He has it.
Contact on
Yes.
there? Did somebody, do you all call or email somebody?
We were on hold for like 30 minutes this morning. It was the Fulton County normal, hold music. But the number was wrong, so I called. It was 612-4850, but I called 613 after that, and 613 took me to. And they said it's on the
Did you
second
get the
page.
notice for the last court hearing in January?
I don't know. After the one.
Was this for the show cause?
No, the first hearing was on January the 28th.
This one was for the show call.
I know, but did you get the first one for January the 28th? This is the second time you've been on the calendar.
Right, I got that one after the court. He said it came to his house after the date. It was late.
Is that Montgomery address?
Yeah, he didn't get a separate sheet. That's what
Gotcha, I understand, but I'm saying, did you all try?
the number on there. I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, folks.
May I be excused? Your
Yes,
Honor?
sir. Thank you. Good luck. All right, gray case is reset to April 1st, plea and arraignment calendar. All right, the only case left is Mr. Thomas. And as soon as Miss Helen is done, we can address that. So far on these 11 o'clock calendar, I'm just going to wait till the Thomas case is completed, and then I'm going to make my final decision on moving forward with the bench warrants. Okay, thank you. Ms. Riley? Can I put both of you in a breakout to discuss a possible plea? Okay. I'm going to put you and Miss Catrice Helen, PD Catrice Helen in the breakout room to discuss the Thomas case.
Okay.
And this office will be represented.
Okay.
It's position 10, Harry Bell Thompson.
Yes. Ms. Smith, please face Ms. Helen and thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Helen, Miss Riley.
Oh, we're coming right back in, Your Honor. I apologize.
Okay, no problem. And what's the announcement, Miss Riley?
We're going to be arraigning the case, Judge.
Mr. Thompson, if you please walk all around, not through those double doors and come to the podium. And the public defender's office is representing him, yes? And do you waive a reading of the accusation, Mr. Helen?
I do, Judge.
All right, and is Mr. Thompson seeking a bench trial or a jury trial?
Jury trial.
Okay. We'll need a case management order for this case as well. Mr. Harry Thompson, and I do apologize, I finally got your name right, but your case number is 17 CR 008479G. You have been accused of DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, and one misdemeanor charge of speeding, allegedly from September 10th, 2015 in Fulton County, Georgia. You have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney and you're represented by the public defender's office. Upon the entry of a not guilty plea, your case will be arraigned and scheduled for a jury trial before the division judge. If there are any discrepancies or any changes in your current mailing address, I recommend that you go back upstairs to J150 and make sure that we have your correct mailing address, because notices will be sent to you via mail to reappear in court in person or via Zoom. Failure to appear may risk the issuance of a bench warrant. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea at the time of trial, the state prosecution has the complete burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state prevails, you could be convicted and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead, sir?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you are seeking a jury trial, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, a case management order will be issued. It's a scheduling order. It's really for defense counsel to make sure that they comply with the time frames for required documents. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
free to go. If you want to consult with your attorney, you may do so.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Yes.
And his division is Judge G, so his case will be tried before Judge Mather. John Mather? All right, folks, going back down the show cause calendar, positions 1 and 2, a bench warrant will issue. Positions 3, a bench warrant will issue. Position 4, a bench warrant will issue. The case is reset to March 11th. I'm sorry, I know I said March 4th. It's reset to March 11th on council's motion to set aside the bench warrant. Position 5 is a bench warrant. Position 6 is reset to April 1st, 2022 for plea and arraignment pending discovery to be submitted to Mr. Mitchell. Position 7 and 8 and 9 are bench warrants. Position 10 was the case was arraigned and further notice for a jury trial. All right. Any questions on any of the calendars so far? No? All right. That concludes our calendars. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Riley. Ms.
Thank you,
Gann.
Judge.
Thank you, everybody else. Ms. Helen, poor thing, going up and down. All right. Take care.
Take care.